Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm delighted to be joined today by Use. Thank you for registering. It will be slightly a different masterclass today, but I've no doubt that it'll be extremely useful for those of you wanting to learn more about the Use purchase to pay solution. It's 11 a.m. and it's Tuesday, the 22nd of June, 2021. My name is Jane Pendlebury. I am the CEO of HOSPA, the Hospitality Professionals Association. We're here for up to an hour today, and we're very happy to answer any questions along the way. So please pop any questions or queries for either me or for Julie in the questions tab on the GoTo platform. We will address any more questions after the event should we run out of time. We are recording today's presentation and we will share a link afterwards. Thank you for joining us, and I'm delighted to be joined by Julie, whose camera won't be switched on today, but I'm going to hand over to her very shortly. Julie is the expert and the main contact for the UK market for Use. So I'm going to hand over to Julie to tell us a little bit about herself. Over to you, Julie. And I'm going to switch off my camera now, otherwise it's just a bit strange. No cameras.
Good morning, Jen. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being with us today. My name is Julie, so I'm working at Use for 2 years now as a consultant, and I'm dedicated to work with clients in the UK, especially in the hospital industry. So this is why I'm really pleased to be with you today and with Jane.
Brilliant. Would you like to just quickly run through the agenda for today, Julie, and tell us a little bit about the main challenges faced by accounts payable in hotels and in restaurants?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, during the presentation today, we are going to talk about the different challenges that can be faced by the hospital industry, the restaurants, and the hotels, and how AP automations or P2P automation with Use can improve and help you to face the challenges. We are going to present you how the solutions is working and how it can be easily customized with your own organizations. We have a lot of clients in these sectors of activity, so we are going to talk about some customers we're currently working with and how Use help them to improve their current organizations. And finally, we are going to end with a concrete and a live demo about the solutions. And finally, if you have any questions, please feel free to add them in the chat box.
Brilliant, thank you. Yes, I think people will be very interested to know about your current customers and how your solution works. Can you tell us a little bit about Use and who the organisation is, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So Use is the name of our solution, and briefly, also the name of our company. We are a cloud-based solution created 11 years ago, in 2010. We provide a solution which is only dedicated on document automation. So this is our core businesses, and then we provide a solution that can be customized easily for each of our clients, depending on their project, your current organization, and the different system you're currently using. So this is really important for us to provide the best AP automations or P2P automation solutions. So this is why we reinvest 25% of our revenue into research and development. And today it brings you to work with more than 4,000 clients in 35 countries. So directly with hotels, restaurants, or many other industry with our clients, and also with accounting firm that's using our solutions for the bookkeeping of their clients.
Fantastic. I think you're going to tell us a little bit about your clients as well. There's some fantastic names on that slide you've just pulled up there, Julie.
Exactly. So in terms of our clients, as we provide solutions really flexible, we work with many industry, and the hospital industry is really an activity where we have more than 1,000 clients using Use. So they decided to put in place either the solutions for their account payable processes, the approval and the payment of their invoices, or to really streamline their entire P2P process to have a clear visibility and a complete end-to-end process. So we're working with clients in the UK, such as Five Guys or Pullman and many other hotels, restaurant and pub. The main point of this client is that they have a decentralized organizations with different entities, different hotels, and they want to have solutions that can help them to have a clear visibility easily on just one solutions.
Okay, fantastic. There's some great names on that slides. So can you just quickly talk us through the main challenges faced by accounts payable offices within restaurants and hotels?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have, as I explained before, we currently working with more than 1,000 clients in these sectors. So as we work with multiple clients from the hotels, restaurant industry, there are some common challenges that they are facing. First of all, the lack of visibility on spending, which can impact your cash flow management, or the fact that invoices or any document you need to process are coming from different ways on different formats. So it can lead to a complicated and a long approval process and payment as well. Even more when you have multiple locations with different hotel, different restaurants. So they want to improve their traceability, have less lack of accurate data, and they want to improve the speed of their process, and which can also improve the payment, etc. of their invoices.
Brilliant. And I know just from talking to you previously that you have got the solutions to all of these challenges. Would you want to just quickly explain how best to overcome these challenges?
Absolutely. So the goal of use and AP and P2P automations is really to provide you a solutions which is quickly and that is going to overcome your different challenges regarding AP or P2P. So first of all, we all realize with the past few months that working remotely can be difficult to have a clear visibility on the different tasks, on the different step of your process. So with AP automations, it will allow you and your team to work remotely with a real visibility on your business and have a clear view on discontinuity. It also can help you to improve the time of your process with automation, with OTR extractions. So you won't have to enter manually all the coding and verify all the information one by one. Use is going to help you to detect if there is any duplicate, if there is a fraud, if there is a balance with the POs and the invoices received, so you can speed up your process and focus more on value-added tasks.
Brilliant. Okay, that's really useful. So there's lots of, I see on your slide there, there's lots of improved accuracy and time saving, which I think, given the current state of how busy hotels are at the moment, certainly with internal processes, that's got to be a great thing. So when somebody decides that they will launch into automating their AP and P2P, have you got any tips on how to start that project?
Yes, absolutely. So putting in place AP automations or P2P automations can seems to be difficult, but the goal is really to provide a solution that can be implemented quickly, so you can have a quick return of invoice investments on these implementations. And to start any project, it's important for to start by defining your different objectives. So there are some quantitative objectives and some qualitative objectives. Obviously, depending on each project, it can depend. But first of all, if you want to define your qualitative objective, you can see what are the main points I want to improve. Is it maybe the fact that I want to reduce the risk of frauds? I want to have a better control and visibility of my expense? Is it more something related to improving company relationship with its supplier? And then it's also defining more measurable objective, such as reducing your time and cost of process, the have a complete visibility, which is enable you to save a lot of time and not finding where the information is, if the document has been approved, has been paid. So to have a complete end-to-end process. So the first stage of any project is really to define your current objectives in this project.
Brilliant. And as I said at the beginning, everyone is very welcome to put their questions into the questions tab as well. And we've got one already asking a bit about fraud prevention, which you touched on there. I guess you're probably going to come on to that in a bit more detail, but do you just want to reiterate how it can help with fraud detection or prevention?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have different indicators which can help you with this parts in the system. So fraud detections, it's about being sure that all the information on the document on an invoices are correct. There is no balance between the supplier information we have from your accounting systems and the information on an invoices. If there is a balance between the bank details on an invoices and the information we have in the systems, you can be alert to be sure that there is no fraud for the payment of these invoices. And we have also an additional services which is really dedicated to fraud detections, what we call fake detection use. It's enable you to analyze your document and to see if there is any modification done on the documents. So if the amount has been done, has been modified on Photoshop or manually, use can also let you to verify the documents.
Okay, fantastic answer. Thank you. So yes, do go ahead with planning your project.
So once you have defined your objectives, it will help you to define the different step you will have to put in place in the implementations of AP automations. So obviously, depending on each project, it can be the length can be very different. But we provide something that is our goal is to provide the solutions really user friendly and also in the implementation, so it can be done in few days. So from the signatures of the project to the entire implementations. So having a good implementations, it's working closely with use team to prepare your project to be sure that the integration with your different system is clear. Then defining the workflow, the different process you want to have use to send it directly to the correct approver or to the direct person in charge. And then once you have clearly prepared your project, define all the workflow you want, we are going to do the integration with your ERP. We are also going to train you. It's also very important to be used and to be comfortable with the use of any new system. So it's important to provide customized training for each of our customers during the implementations, and then we go live. So from the integrations to the complete deployment, automations, and setup of your solutions, it can be done very quickly. Usually a complete project is around 2 or 3 months at use.
Okay, brilliant. I've been asked here how much support you give people during the planning process. Do you have pre-installation documents, and how involved can your team or will your team be with helping people define their current process and where it can be improved?
Exactly. So our goal is to provide a solution, really to provide a services that will help you to improve your current organizations. So we have really a team dedicated before the implementation and of your projects to see with you what would be the best way to improve your process. So we also help you on these parts to see if there is any modification that could be useful in your daily organizations. And then during the implementation of any new project, we have different workshop dedicated with your dedicated project manager in charge of your project's implementations to see together how to define the workflow, what you want to how you want to implement the solution. So we help you from the beginning of the project to the entire implementation with really trained and dedicated team.
Right, I'm sure that will be exactly the answer they were wanting to hear. So with various different AP automation solutions, how do people choose the one, how do they know how to choose the one that's right for their operation?
So depending on each project, there is no one answer to every hotel, every restaurant, or every industry that want to implement AP or P2P automations, but it's really important to look at some elements. So you can just look at some points such as having a good balance between functionality, level of automations, and easy to use and integrations. I think this is really the two main points to take in considerations in the implementation of new projects. So the level of automation is to see how the author technology is working, if this is mapping technology where you need to do a lot of configurations, if this is full recognitions where the solution is going to read your entire documents without any specific configurations, to see if the solution is working with any format of document as well. So to see really the AI in place in the solutions and the OCR technology that will be in the solutions. The second one is having a solution that can really automate and gather all the different steps you want to automate, and not to have too many systems that need to communicate between each of them, because the more solutions you have and the more difficult in terms of visibility it is. So having one or two solutions, it's the easiest way to have a clear visibility on your process. And the last point, I think, is to see the implementation and the integrations of the solution you want to integrate. If it's a solution that have a good integration with your current ERP, with your current accounting systems, and also the fact that today we have two main type of solutions: on-premise solution and cloud-based solutions. So having a cloud-based solution in terms of integration is something, for instance, that can be done more quickly than on-premise solution. So to see the length of the implementations is also important.
Okay, that's great. Are you able to show us a little bit more about how the solution actually works?
Yeah, absolutely. So here you can see the different stage we can find on use. So each step is really flexible. So either you can integrate use your entire purchase to pay process from the purchase request by raising your purchase request, putting in place different approval workflow based on different criteria, raising your PO directly on use during the good receptions as well. And then we are going to do the match with the invoice or the different invoices related to. This part is really optional and completely flexible depending on how you're currently working for this part. If you already have this part in your ERP or in a specific purchasing management tool, what we can do is to integrate this information from this same systems so that you keep your system in place, and we just do the integrations automatically of this data, so we can have an automatic match once we receive the invoices. The second part here is the captures of documents. So this is how you will be able to integrate your document in use. So you can integrate any format of documents, PDF, Word, email body, picture, any formats, with different ways, depending on how you receive them. Nowadays, we receive more and more document by email. So we can connect you to one or different email address where you are, where automatically use is going to be linked. So the document will be forwarded in the solution without any manual interventions. You can have different email box. If you have different hotels, for instance, one AP email address per hotels, we can really connect as many email address you want, and then automatically all the documents will be integrated in use. If you receive still some paper invoices, it's not a problem. We can really integrate easily those documents, either by doing a scan of these invoices, send it to the email that will be connected to use, or you can scan the document and directly from use do a drag and drop of these files in your solutions. We can also connect use to a collectors of invoices. If you have some supplier where they put their invoices on a specific portal, we can have a collector, so it's working like a robot that is going to download your document for you and integrate that in use. And we have also the possibility to access to the solution with any devices, so you can even take a picture of an invoices and integrate that as well with your smartphone. Once the documents are integrated in your solutions, Use is going to analyze your document with the AI technology and the OCR in place. First of all, to see if there is any duplicates, to not pay twice the same invoices. Also, to do an automatic split of your invoices. If there is on one PDF different invoices, Use is capable to do an automatic split. So if you receive, for instance, 10 invoices by post, you don't have to do one scan per document. You just have to do one in PDF, one scan, and then Use is going to do the splits for you. And then is going to also extract all the data necessary for the entries of your document. Once the document is analyzed, then we are going to send this document to the correct users in charge to do the review. So to your accountants or to your different accountants, if you have different accountants, we can really adapt the routes. Once the document is reviewed, so this part is also something that can either be matched automatically with a PO, that's if there is a PO related to these invoices, and then automatically Use is going to enter all the coding you have entered before, and you will be alerted just if there is a balance, if there is an issues, a fraud detect, or any verification you need to do on it. Otherwise, automatically Use is going to do the match for you and review the documents. And if you don't have any PO related to these invoices, you will have to do the coding once, and then we are based on machine learning. So it's meaning that the GL accounts and all the different GL accounts and the different cost center you will have for these invoices is something you will have to enter once, and then Use is going to remind the information for the second invoices of the same supplier. So you can completely automate the captures, the review, and then the approval. So this part is also customizable. You can have between 1 until 9 steps, and in each step we can put different criteria. We can say every invoices up to £5,000 need to be approved twice by the manager of the department and then by the CEO, for instance. We can put criteria per supplier, per type of expense, per type of document, if you want to have an approval just for non-PO invoices. So it's really, really flexible. And finally, we have the possibility also to prepare the payments in Use if this is something you don't have in your ERP. And finally, we are going to send the information to your ERP or to the payment solutions where you pay your supplier. Or we can also generate PAX files directly from Use. So the solution is really flexible to be customized easily with any organization in place. And once the documents are completely processed within Use, you will still have the possibility to find your document easily on your solutions, as we archive your documents at least during 6 years until 10 years. And then you will be able to search your document with multi-criteria search, create your own report. You also have some KPIs to see the efficiency of your process. So it's really a full solution to improve your efficiency and also improve your visibility of your process.
Brilliant. Okay, and I do have a couple of questions for you here, Julie. At all those stages, can the user intervene manually? So how much is automated and how much is required of the operator to push it on to the next stage? That's the first part of the question. The second part of the question is, if it can all be automated, can it be manually interrupted to verify something?
Absolutely. So yes, absolutely. So in each step, we are going to put specific workflow. So automatically, it's going to be sent to the correct users in charge or the different users that can review or approve the documents. So once you receive an invoice to review, for instance, we can also put in place different alerts or notifications. You can set, we can say every time you have an invoice to approve, we can send you an email. And on this email, you will have just a URL link that brings you directly to you so you can see the document you have to approve. But the different step is really automates in between each of them. Obviously, you always have the possibility to verify the informations. So the goal is to automate as much as possible all the invoices where there is no specific issues. It's always the same coding and the match with the PO has been done correctly. But you can even verify the informations just by entering on the document itself. So I will show you this just right after with the demo.
Okay, brilliant. And staying on this slide, actually, on the capture process, I've got a question coming in here that says all supplier invoices come in different formats. So I understand that it's AI, but it's not always that easy to work out which bits of information are relevant. So how does it identify what the address field is, or the name, or the amount, or the tax amount?
Yeah. So regarding the captures of the data on the documents, so use in terms of formats can read any formats. So PDF is the main use, but picture, email body, Word, etc. And then regarding the OCR extraction of the on the document itself, so when we do the setup of a solution, we are going to integrate different information from your accounting system or from your ERP, where you have your supply list, for instance. And then based on this information, use is going to read your entire document and we'll be able to link the information on the document and the correct supplier. Then regarding the data, the necessary for the entry, so the document number, the amount, etc. This is based on our solution, on our OCR, which is based on full recognitions. So it means that use is not using mapping technology where you have to do a specific configurations per supplier, saying the amount is at the bottom right, the document number is at the top left, etc. We don't want to use this type of technology because it needs high configurations per users, per supplier, sorry, and for each supplier, if there is a modification in the presentation of the document, you will have to do the modification on your solution. So this is why we are using full recognitions OCR technology, so that user is capable to pick up the information wherever they are on the documents. And then let's say there is a missing information, the first invoices you are going to receive, the tax amount is missing, you just have to click on the document to add the informations, and then user is going to remind the informations for the second invoices of the same supplier.
And presumably, if it, let's hope it never gets anything wrong, but if it were to get something, if it were to fill in a field incorrectly, it could be manually changed as well.
Yes, completely. You remain the main actor on the solution. So use help you to automate the collect of data, but if you want to do any modification, you can.
Okay, now I know we are going to come on to some case studies, so you may want to delay answering the next question, but the question is about working, is use designed for independent units or for chains of properties, or does it work equally well in both scenarios?
So we can really work in both scenario. So just to explain you, we have more than 50% of our clients that have a decentralized organizations, so multi-entities, company, legal entities. So either you have one solutions, you have one hotels, for instance, you can have your solutions, but if you have different entities, it's completely possible to have the same solutions and integrate your different hotels in it. In terms of setup, obviously each organization, each hotels can be independent, but we can also share some information. So let's say you have 2 hotels, the supplier information, the supplier lists are different, so you will have a specific setup, but the tax code and the chart of account are the same. We can globalize the information. So this is really easy to have either the solution for one entities, but we used to have a lot of our client with many entities, so this is something that can be set up easily in the solutions, and we can customize the setup per organization. Same thing for the users. If you are working just for one hotels, you will be in charge just to work on these hotels, and you won't have necessarily the visibility of the rest of the documents. It's flexible.
Okay, and then the next query is kind of a comment. They've said that it doesn't really matter which way it does it, but they're just curious to know if you've got a supplier that is due multiple different invoices. So you've got to pay them, pay them for one invoice from Hotel A and another one from Hotel B. Will it do that in one transaction, or will it do separate transactions?
So regarding the payments, this is we can do both actually. It's just a question of setup if you want to have it in 2 transactions or 1. And
Okay.
it's also a questions or regarding your current accounting systems at the can work. But we can adapt that.
Okay, that's fine. It wasn't really, they weren't bothered about the answer actually to that one. It was just a curious question. So I think now you're going to come on to some case studies, which I think will probably be really interesting to see who's using your system and how it's benefited them. So I'll hand over to you just to talk you through some of those, please, Julie.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of them is Five Guys, one of our clients in the UK. They have more than 20 restaurants in the UK, and they use our solution to automate their entire P2P process of their different restaurants. And so when we did the implementation of the solution, we start during the implementations for the UK, and then we extend their use for other countries such as Spain, France, and Germany. So they really want to put in place AP automations to reduce their time of process, have a better productivities, and also they have issues in payment that was a bit late. So they really want to improve their the time of their process. So with the implementation of use, to give you an overview, in terms of implementations, we put in place the solution. We train the teams and have a full automation with their ERP, which is Sage X3, in less than 2 weeks. So the integration was really short, and they was able to reduce time of their process and divide it by twice. And the main point also is for them was to have an important visibility on their daily operations per restaurant. Another example is a camping and hotels hotels we work with in France. Same thing. They wanted to do the implementation first of all for their different hotels in France, and then they decided to integrate the solutions for Spain, Portugal. So they have more than 64 sites, and they wanted to implement the solution quickly before the summer period, which is important for them. So the implementation, same thing, the complete training and automate was less than 2 months. And it's enabled them to automate completely 80% of their invoices so that they can focus on the 20% that rest when they have more balance issues on these invoices. So they can really work with and have a human's interventions on these invoices that need to have a manual and human interventions.
Okay, well that's great. I've got a question here, and I think this is probably when you were mentioning about invoices for Five Guys, but would you, if it was, it's great if you've got regular invoices coming in from regular suppliers. If it was a one-off invoice, for example, at the initial build of a premises, would you still want to use this process, or would you recommend manually keying in an invoice if you know that's going to be the only one ever from that supplier? I'm thinking you're going to say never manually put one in, but I'll let you answer that rather than me guessing at your answer.
So the goal is to help you to automate all type of invoices. So the complete one, the document you receive maybe once. But even if you will have to do a manual verification regarding the coding, you will be able to collect the invoices, to analyze your documents, and also putting in place approval workflow automatically. So you will still have a manual intervention to verify the informations, but the solution will still help you to automate the collect of the data on these same invoices, because we don't need any specific configuration per supplier. So the OTR extraction will still help you for this type of invoices.
Okay, thank you. And another query here with which accounting systems, I think you've got on the screen there that you've got the Sage X3 and the Sage 1000. Have you got a list of the interfaces that you have to accounting systems?
Yes, absolutely. So on our website, we have the list of our 250 connectors we're working with. So we're working, yes, it's in this example, it's both Sage, but we're working with Microsoft, with SAP, and also with more specific ERP. We have some clients that have a homemade ERP, so we can even develop a specific connectors with their with this type of accounting system ERP. We work with payment solutions as well. If you have a dedicated solutions to process your transactions, or a specific project purchase management tool. So we can really work with any system that you are using. And if you want, I will send that to Jane, the list you can have access to. The new connectors, the connectors developed are free of charge for our new customers. So if you are using Sage X-Ray, for instance, the integrations with these systems will be charged for free.
Okay, brilliant. Is there a minimum number of invoices to make the system cost effective? So do you have a sort of return on investment that if you're only processing 5 invoices a month, it's not worth your while? Is there a formula that you work on along those lines?
Yeah, same thing. So on our website, we have the possibility to calculate the return of invoices per level of invoices that you are processing monthly, quarterly, or annually. To explain you in terms of subscription, how we work with all of our clients, our subscription are based on the number of documents that you are going to process within use. Sorry. So it's mean that you can have as many users in your solutions and as many entities. If you have different hotels, for instance, it's completely unlimited, and then we are going to see just how many invoices you are processing in your account payable process, or how many POs and invoices you are going to generate and process in use. Our first edition start at 100 document per month, but we have some clients that using the solution for less. I know that we have some client that just process and use for because they have 60 invoices each month. But the solutions can also integrate other type of documents. You can integrate your legal document, your contract, where you need to have approval workflow for this type of document as well. And it's also enable you to keep them on a cloud-based solutions and have the possibility to find them easily.
Okay, great. And do you normally replace just a is this normally when people put the use solution in, are they normally replacing a manual process?
Yes, absolutely. The goal is really to help you to uh, improve and to reduce as much as possible your manual process.
Right. Okay. So I guess not only freeing up people to do other things in the accounts office, but also making it more accurate and efficient at the same time.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Okay. Um, So you've mentioned Five Guys there in the UK, and the other one, which was France, Spain, and Portugal. Just because the majority of our audience today will be UK, have you got any other UK clients that you can just quickly give us some idea on as well, Julie?
So, yeah, absolutely. So in terms of we communicate with regarding these customers because for confidentiality reason we can't we keep the rest anonymous. But yes, absolutely. I just implement use for a new hotel that will be launched in 2022 in January. It's luxury hotels in the UK in London, and they decided to implement use before the opening and the launch of their hotels before, so they can already have a solution in place where they will receive their clients and have more supply invoices. So we have a lot of hotels, restaurants worldwide and in the UK as well. But in terms of name, I cannot tell you in details, but yes.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. Now, I know you mentioned the authority process, getting approval in. How many layers of approval can you have? Because I can imagine in some, if it's just a regular invoice, you wouldn't need so much approval going in. If it's something that comes in, week out, or daily, or at least once, on a regular basis. And you mentioned, I think, that you could set a limit if there's a certain amount spent that might send it into
Yeah.
another layer of authority. How many levels of authority can you put in?
Okay, so if you
Minimum.
want, maybe we can jump on the demo so I can show you this, how the workflow can be set up. It's really easy. You can have until 9 steps, so it can be very wide.
Brilliant.
So use is a cloud-based solutions where so any users will have their own login, and depending on your right, you will have a pretty a special visibility and access on the documents. We also have single sign-in login if you don't want to log twice on your PC and on use to have a streamlined connections. So in my situation, I have different solutions. So I'm going to log on the UK one so you can see first of all the first stage, and I'm just going to go quickly in the setting to show you the workflow and how easy it's can be set up. So we can put in place workflow at different steps of your process from for the purchase request that need to be approved before raising the PO. You can have a specific workflow for PO invoices or non-PO invoices. So just to show you quickly, at each stage, you will have the possibility to put in place different steps. So here you can see that in my solutions, I have one phase for the registrations, the review of the documents. And then for the approval, I have one step. And in the same step, I've put different criteria. So you can see that all the invoices less than £50 need to be sent to this user's Emily. All the invoices from the IT equipment up to £5,000 need to be sent to my IT manager. So you can really create your own routes. You can have as many routes you want to, and you can combine different criteria. Here you can see that all the invoices from this specific supplier need to be sent to this users. You can send it to one users, to different users, and then you can really combine many criteria. So the approval process is between 1 until 9 steps, and same thing if you want to integrate payment approval, we can put in place between 1 until 9 steps.
Okay. I think that answers that question very comprehensively. Thank you. Whilst you're on, at the moment, I don't have any outstanding questions from our delegates. There may be some still coming in. Is there anything else that you would like to show us whilst you've got the live software up there, Julie?
Yes, absolutely. So just to quickly present you use in 10 minutes, so you can just have a brief overview about how the solution is working. So the solutions enable you to integrate your documents automatically. You will have different tabs here in your solution. So the captures, this is where we are going to set up the different automate collection of your document, either by email, if you have collectors of invoices where we can receive the invoices automatically from your supplier. And then you will have the possibility here to just integrate your document that you receive by post, for instance, just by doing a drag and drop of your files. If you have different organization, if different hotels, for instance, you will be able to choose the correct hotels on which you want to put the documents, and then select the type of documents, because we are going to process invoices, but as I explained previously, we can also integrate contract or any document you want to integrate and archive or use. Once the documents are integrated, captures by the solution, JIS is going to analyze the documents and then send it to the correct person in charge to review the documents. We can then put in place specific alerts every time you receive an invoices, or you can have a daily alert that's you can receive by email, and then you will see all the documents you have to process within your solutions. And this document will be in your task here. So your task is really where you are going to work in the solutions. So you have all the documents you have to process here. You can see the task you have to do on it. You can see if you are working for different organizations, different hotels, in the number of documents per entities. You can maybe decide to work more on a specific supplier, on a specific date. You can really customize your main screen. And then at the top of your screen, you have some additional field regarding the document you have to process. So here you can see that I have 23 documents in my solution to process. You can see that I have one late document, 17 document completes, 0 blocked, and 0 in progress. So the document late, it's all the document where use detect a late in the process of these invoices. We can say, for instance, every time we receive an invoice in the systems, the use and the users in charge need to process the invoices within 5 days. And after these 5 days, if the accountant in charge, for instance, didn't review the document, this person can receive a reminder, and after X reminder, the document can be flagged as a late document and can even be sent to someone else to not block the system. So it's all the documents you have to process in priority in your solutions. So complete documents. So as I explained the goal of use is really to automate as much as possible the captures, the OCR extraction, the coding of your invoices, so you won't have to do anything manually. So you can see that for 17 of my documents, the solutions extracting everything. There is no specific issue on the documents or balance detected or fraud detection as well. So it means that you always have the possibility to verify the information, either with a quick summary here. You can see with the cross here, you can view with a brief summary your document on your right side, where you can zoom in and zoom out. You can have a PDF reader also here if you have different pages for these invoices. You can have a summary about the properties extracted by use on the document with the OCR extractions. The invoice line, so the account or the different accounts and the different cost center if you have a different cost center as well. And let's say if you know that for this supplier, this is always the same coding, you don't need to verify the documents in details one by one. You can decide to approve review the document on batches, and then click on process automatically. And depending on the different workflow we are going to set up in your solutions, these 3 documents will be sent to the correct approver in charge. If you want to verify the information in details, this is completely possible. You just have to click on the document you want and verify in detail the document. So you can have a clearer visibility here with your PDF with your invoices on your right side. So you can see that when I put my mouse on use is capable to read all the information related to the document. So it's really the main differences between full recognition OCR and mapping technology. use is going to extract and analyze all the information wherever they are on the documents. So if you want to verify maybe where you pick up the document date, for instance, you can just click on the document on the informations, and use is going to highlight on the document where you pick up the informations. And then at the bottom of your screen, you will have the coding of your invoices. So if there is a PO that will be matched for these invoices, the coding will be linked if this is something you have entered during the PO phase. And if there is no PO, this is something you will have to enter once based on the information that are coming from your accounting system, your GL accounts, etc. Tax code, your different cost center. And then you will have just to process your documents with the different button you can see here. So submit if everything is clear. You don't need to do any additional action on the document. You also have the entries here that will be sent for the bookkeeping of the information once the document will be reviewed. You can decide to put the document in dispute if there is any specific issues on the documents. You don't want to process the documents, you didn't receive the goods, or you didn't have the services, for instance. You can decide to put the specific reasons. You can say, you can also extract it directly from the document, the information you want, and then automatically use is going to put the information wherever you need on the invoice, on the comment, or on any field you want. And then in my situation, if I want to put the document in dispute, I will have to click on submit here. You can attach document as well. It means that you can add an email, a contract, or any document that can be useful for the process of these invoices. You can also add a comment to see that to add for the approver. Please verify maybe the coding or the cost center, or add any information you want, etc. And then you also have your email address integrated in you. So it means that if there is an issues on the invoices, you want to put the document in dispute. So it means that the document will be blocked in the systems. So you won't be able to approve and pay the invoices until you decide to unblock the documents. And then you can even let directly from use with your own email box integrated in the solutions, your supplier. So it can be alerts to see he needs to send you a credit note or any explanations with the document attached here. So if I'm going back quickly on my main screen, you will be able to see that now my documents, I have different information here. So the document that we just blocked here, he is in my section blocked documents. So all the users that have the possibility to view the document will be able to see the alerts, who did it, the comment, etc. Same thing here in your progress section, you can see all the documents you have reviewed and that are waiting to have a second step in the process, an approval, or any step after you. So now you can see that the 3 documents we just approved needs now to be approved by these users, etc. To keep a full traceability even when you have finished to process on your side these invoices. Once the document will be completely processed within use, then we are going to send the information to your accounting system, or to your to the system we need to exchange with. We can exchange information at different steps of your process. For the bookkeeping after the review, for the payments once the invoices is completely approved. So this part is also something we can adapt. We also have the possibility to receive payment feedbacks from your payment solution or from your ERP, so you can have a full traceability on the documents. As we are going to archive your document, but also all the information related to this document. Here, you will have the history of the invoices. So you can see, to have a complete audit trail, you will be able to see when the document was integrated on use, if there is any comment, email sent, any information will be archived in the system. Finally, when you will have completely processed your documents in use, you won't see anymore the document in your task or in your exports, but you will be able to see that briefly at any time with this search functionality here, either by typing any keyword you want, an invoice number, PO number, any information you want. Let's say I want to see all the document that includes this information. Use is going to pick up all the document that includes this word. But you can really customize your search more precisely if you want to see all the invoices from last year, for instance, from a specific hotels, a specific organizations in use. Let's say I want to see all the documents from the London hotels. I just want to see the invoices, so I'm going to type and select just the invoices, and you can even select a specific supplier, specific vendor. I'm not sure that in my search I will find, no, too much criteria. So you will be able to see all the document you want with the different criteria you need, and then you can even save this search if this is something you need to find frequently. And you can also decide to share this information, this search, with some of the users that have access to the document as well. So that once you need to find the information, it's easy. You just have to go back on your search box and you will have your different search saved. You just have to click here to find the information you want, and you can even decide to download these information on an Excel sheet if you need to do some analysis. And one last point is the KPIs you have on use. This part is more dedicated to see your activity on the solution. So the number of documents that are waiting to be approved, the number of documents per entities, per hotels, for instance, your activity per month, the time of your process, the number of documents per supplier, the process per users, etc. And same thing, this information can also be extracted on an Excel sheet if you need. This first presentation, it was really quick just to show you briefly some points in use.
I think that's brilliant, though, Julie. I've certainly learned a lot from that. That was you kept our interest during that. I've got two really quick questions, and then we must draw to a close. This one, actually, you've answered. The question is about scanned invoices and if they're archived and can they be viewed. So you have answered that, and they can be printed. I saw a little printer icon. So that one's already answered. The final question I have here, which will very neatly bring us up to our hour, is if you have a handwritten invoice, which does still come in for things like fresh food deliveries, can that be scanned in as well? And if someone was just to take a photo of that, would that work as an upload into the system? You've got about a minute to answer that.
Yeah, so yes, absolutely. You can integrate any type of document. So just by taking a picture of the document, even if this is a written invoices, it's just that in terms of RTR extractions, you will have to enter the information manually, but you can completely process these invoices in use, and it will follow the approval process that you need in your solutions.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And that does bring us neatly to the end of our time. So thank you all very much for listening and for your interest. And a special thank you today to Julie, who has presented today's masterclass on behalf of Use. Very comprehensive overview of the solution and very interesting too. So thank you very much for that. And for those listening, if you would like to find out more about the company and their solutions, please do contact me and I can connect you directly with Julie and her colleagues from Muse. I'd be delighted to have the opportunity to do that. Thank you all for taking part today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks very much and goodbye for today.